everybody to Survive and Advance on the Grueling Truth Sports Network. Survive and Advance is now brought to you by BetNow.eu for a 50% cash back bonus on your first deposit up to $1,000. Make sure you use the promo code TRUTH50. That's TRUTH50 at BetNow.eu, or you can go to the top of the GruelingTruth.com page, click on the banner, and get the promo code TRUTH50. I am your co-host for Survive and Advance.
$1,000 now?
And as you can tell,
I put $50 in and have an account with them, and I didn't get the $1,000 deal.
Not been able to find somebody to replace Steve Risley, who just continues to talk over me. But I tried. Now, I am your co-host, Mike Goodpaster. Right now, I would like to welcome in my co-host, who the show's been offline for about a month now because he's been covering the Iditarod in Canada, but he has not been able to find it. So we just decided we'll bring him back and we'll start talking football. Help me welcome to the show 1981 national champion Steve Risley. How you doing, Steve?
Hey, first off, you idiot, the Iditarod's not in Canada.
I know. That's why you could never find it.
That's why I couldn't find it. I was driving through Canada. You know, in Canada, and I actually made this drive one time, they have all gravel roads. They don't even pave their roads in Canada. What is Lucas Weiss thinking about?
Because I don't think you've ever been to Canada.
I've been to Canada a bunch of times. I love Canada.
Must have been when the immigration laws were much more lax.
No, it was when I was trying to get draft dodging. Not kidding. But then at 6'8", you don't get into the military anyway.
Well, plus the fact, Steve, that you graduated from IU in 1981, and between 1978 and since now, there hasn't been I don't think there's been a draft since 1974. So, but I'll tell you this:
well, yeah,
you did. Wait a second, because you did successfully dodge the NBA draft.
Oh, I got drafted. I just got cut. I remember sitting with Jerry Colangelo and sitting here saying, "We really like you, but you're 6'8". We have a 6'11" kid coming in. If he comes to us from Utah, we're going to cut you. You're going to be the last player cut." It was a year that who was the lineman for the Colts?
Sam Clancy?
Sam Clancy and Craig Eschman, and then I was like the 6th round pick, and we all had great camps, and they're like, we like you, but we can't keep you because you're a 6th round pick, and we can't keep a 6th round pick over a 3rd round pick because really neither one of you are going to play anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So that's my story.
So your goal in the NBA was to be the way it was in the 80s, which was to be the one white guy at the end of the bench that's really tall.
No doubt.
Okay.
Did you ever hear the story about Steve Green? And we're off on a tangent right now before we get into the NFL. They bet Steve Green. Bobby Leonard did this.
Steve Green was a member of the 1975 Indiana Hoosiers.
75 team, right. And they bet him to not put his shorts on and just put his warm-ups on because he never played when he played for the Pacers. And then they told Bobby Leonard, Slick, what they did. And about 2 minutes to go in the game, it's like Slick gets up and goes, "Green, get in the game." And he doesn't have any pants, gym shorts on. He has his jockstrap on and his sweatpants, his cover-ups. And so that's a hilarious story.
Or?
No, he got fined. They bet him like $500, $50. I don't know what the dollar amount. I'm not 100% sure on, but they bet him.
In the 70s, it was probably $50. That was a big bet.
Yeah, whatever it was, Slick said, "You're fined this amount of money," so he had to give it all back.
That's just cruel. That's kind of bullying, Steve, and you think that it's cool.
I think it's hilarious.
All right, let's talk about some things that may not be hilarious. If you're an NFL fan, as training camps opened over the weekend, Tyreek Hill gets a standing ovation running on the field for the Kansas City Chiefs. Do you have an issue with that, Steve?
Yeah, I do. I have an issue with the NFL for how they handle these things. Yes, I do. So I'll let you open the discussion up. But yes, I have an issue.
Well, I have an issue with the fans, not the NFL. I have an issue with the NFL that they're even letting him play when you have him on audio
Right.
threatening his girlfriend. But then you're going to let this guy go ahead and be a hero. And the thing is, Tyreek Hill has a long history of that. I mean, he got kicked out of college because of domestic abuse. And the Kansas City Chiefs still will sign him because the Kansas City Chiefs, let's face it, if Charles Manson was 20 years old today, they would probably sign him to play corner and then hope that maybe we could rehab him. And this is complete, utter crap because you have a man here.
I'm in agreement.
The judge said in the case that he thought something happened. He just wasn't sure if it was Tyreek or his baby mama who did the abuse. And, you know, he talked about punching his son in the chest. But I know that he now says that punching my son in the chest would probably refer to me teaching my son how to box, because we do have boxing gloves at our house. I can tell you this. The way this is going to end is over the next few years, he's going to do something dumb again, and he's going to get kicked out of the NFL. But right now what the NFL needs is they've got Patrick Mahomes, who they think is going to be the face of the NFL for the next decade. You can't take away Tyreek Hill.
They're wrong there. They're wrong there.
Well, see, they're not wrong as long as they take care of Patrick Mahomes. I mean, who's the face of the NFL over the next 10 years then, Steve?
It's the New England Patriots.
No, it's not. Not over the next 10 years because he's just not. Tom Brady has never been the face of the NFL. I mean, the NFL's done more to stop Tom Brady than they had to help him. You know, Peyton Manning.
Back to Tyreek Hill before we move. Let's get back to Tyreek Hill before we move on to that.
Yeah, but this all goes together. Tyreek Hill, if he did this and he was playing on the Miami Dolphins, who have literally no quarterback and no chance, would have probably been suspended. But Tyreek Hill's needed in Kansas City. You know, you got to try to stop Tom Brady somehow. So you got Patrick Mahomes. You don't want to take his biggest weapon away. And the thing that's really sad is you have fans that are out there cheering for this guy as he runs on the field. And you know what he is. He's a monster. I mean, that's just that simple. We know what he did in college. We know what he may have done here, but what he did in college makes him a monster. It should have kept him out of the NFL to begin with. It's one thing to be smoking weed and get a second chance. It's another thing to beat the hell out of your girlfriend, especially, I think at the time, his girlfriend back then was pregnant. So when you look at this, if I'm sitting there and I'm clapping like a total moron as Tyreek Hill runs on the field, and I've got a 7-year-old son looking up at me and he thinks, man, I should clap for this guy too. Right there tells you the problem with society in general.
Okay, so are we saying that more than any other league in professional sports, the NFL puts winning above anything else?
All leagues do.
Is that what we're saying here?
All leagues do.
That's a statement that they're kind of making?
Yeah, it's what all leagues. It's a statement all leagues make. This just with the NFL, they go a lot more overboard than everybody else.
Okay. Yeah. Tyreek Hill should probably.
He should probably be in jail somewhere.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that, but I tend to probably
or
agree
starting
with
his
you on
or
that.
starting his career as a Walmart worker.
It's knuck and futz, as I say. It's knuck and futz that the NFL continues to do this and lets these guys get away with things and be immune to prosecution, and then they want to hold their own jury and judge in court and do things on their own and not follow conventional wisdom and law. So it's unfortunate for the league.
Well, let's do this. Let's go look at the case of Golden Tate. Now, the New York Giants, I think everybody knows, are a looming disaster in 2019. And the story of this coming season, as far as the Giants' passing game was concerned, was supposed to be the transition from Eli Manning to first-round pick from Duke, Daniel Jones, at starting quarterback. Now, thanks to a preseason spate of injuries and suspensions, everything's getting even worse. The Giants' wideouts have been going down like the proverbial flies. Corey Coleman suffered a torn ACL in practice and is done for 2019. Sterling Shepard broke his thumb and is likely to miss all the preseason and possibly to start at a regular season. Now the starter opposite of Shepard, Golden Tate, has been suspended for the first 4 regular season games. Tate was New York's biggest offseason acquisition and was the receiver signed to replace Odell Beckham. Now, at least it seems through at least part of September, the Giants' offense is going to be in bigger disarray than what we thought at first. Now, Golden Tate has been suspended for the PEDs, basically, performance-enhancing substances. The thing about this is, with the PEDs, number one, he's getting suspended for longer than Tyreek Hill, who probably did a lot worse. But the PEDs are from a banned substance that was in his system because, as he says, I don't know if this is true or not, but as he says, he had begun family planning sessions with his wife. And I guess something in that is what caused this to happen. And I think while the NFL has to exercise some caution when you look at PEDs, if this is true, I think it's ridiculous to have a scorched earth approach. I mean, a perfect example was, I think it was 2 years ago, Vontaze Burfict had a prescribed medicine that made him fail the PED test and suspended him for, I think, 4 or 6 games. And it was something that was prescribed because he had gotten a concussion at the end of the previous season. It was to help him recover from the concussion, and yet he still gets suspended for, I think they might have dropped it down to like 2 weeks. But, I mean, I think with the NFL, the scorched earth policy that they use with the PEDs really needs to be looked at. And, Toradol is abused big time in the NFL, and everybody knows that. But it is sanctioned by the league. And there's a huge double standard here. And when you look at it with Golden Tate, I think this is a little bit excessive if what he says is true.
Okay, well, let me ask you this question. First off, I spent 25 years working for Pfizer Pharmaceuticals. I launched Viagra. That's a PED. That's a performance-enhancing drug.
Yeah, it's a PED that's not needed because you can do that naturally. You can ask my wife.
No, you
can. If you want, 60, right now, I can get my wife on the phone, and she can tell you that if you eat the proper diet, which keeps your blood circulating, there's no problem there.
I know. Go ahead.
But there's just not. So, I mean, the thing is this. They will... we're going to have a guest.
But Mike, you're a rare commodity. You're a rare commodity in the world. I mean,
I'm not a rare commodity. So it's a rare commodity to not be a dumbass?
We go to In-N-Out Burger and get In-N-Out. Have you ever had an In-N-Out burger?
I would never eat an In-N-Out burger.
If you've never had an In-N-Out burger, you're dying. You're not living life.
No, see, the problem is this. If you have an In-N-Out burger, you are dying a little bit each time you eat.
Exactly. But should PEDs be banned from sports?
It's according to what you consider a PED. Question. Because, I mean, right now...
I don't know.
Now, this is the thing. If it's steroids, it either has to be banned and it has to be stopped, or you got to let everybody do it. The problem right now is with the NFL testing, you get tested before camp. As long as you never test positive for anything in that one time, it's the only time you're going to be tested. I mean, when you're going to be tested. I mean, the NFL goes out of their way to make sure that players do not fail this test. And then sometimes players are stupid. You cycle off a little late, you do something stupid. But it seems to me like more and more guys like Golden Tate are getting busted for things that aren't necessarily performance enhancing. And the other thing is this, if you're going to crack down on it, it's just if you test positive for steroids, you should be banned for life.
Okay, but it isn't any, again, I spent 25 years working for Pfizer, so isn't any drug you take performance enhancing in some way, shape, or form? If I take Norvasc, which is a cardiovascular drug, it reduces my blood pressure.
And yes, and that is illegal. I'm sure that is on the banned list.
You take a beta blocker, And most professional golfers for years were taking beta blockers so their heart rate wouldn't rise when they're making 4-foot putts.
Yeah, and I'll guarantee you, Steve, all of that is on the NFL's ban list.
Yeah, well, yeah, Maria Sharapova got whacked out of tennis for a year and a half for doing that because she was taking a beta blocker.
Yeah, so I mean they're illegal.
So,
and the thing is this, though.
So here's the other question on this. If it's prescribed by a doctor, should it be banned? Now, if you're going into the locker room and grabbing it out of the training room, that's one thing. But if a doctor says you need to be on this product or this PED or this medication, should it be legal or not? What's your thoughts on that?
According to what the reason is. I mean, if the reason is the doctor wants you to get bigger, stronger, and faster, then no. But,
no.
I mean, seriously. Yeah. I mean, that's the way it goes. I mean, when you look at this, there's been a lot of guys, that have been banned or suspended for using stuff that they had to take to be able to survive.
Right.
And we're not talking about steroids. Who was the Buffalo Bill, I think, back in 2016? Who got busted because he had – hold on, let me get this story straight because I just wrote about this when I wrote about the article about should the NFL legalize marijuana. And I'm trying to remember what the guy's name was, but he was a Buffalo Bill. And, I think it was Centrell Henderson. And he had Crohn's disease. And using marijuana to deal with the pain resulting from the illness and 2 intestinal surgeries is what his doctor recommended. And he was suspended twice. The doctor said he needs cannabis. You can't take painkillers with the way his intestines are. So the NFL back in 2016 suspended Henderson for 10 games because of this. So when you look at that, I mean, the studies on cannabis has been studied more than any other drug. I mean, it has been studied more than hydrocodone, Toradol, and Tylenol, all combined.
Right.
And those are three substances
I take CBD every day.
Widely embraces.
I'm going to have to have my hip replaced. I'm going to have my right hip replaced in about 2 months. And I'm going to have a hip surgery done and have my right hip replaced. And I take CBD every single day. My son buys it. And then what do you do with the fact that, like, this is all legal in California? It's legal in many states now.
But it's not legal federally. And if it's not legal federally, it's not really legal anywhere, is the way the government looks at it.
No, the feds say no. States have the right to make their own decisions.
No, that's what the Constitution says. But still, at this moment, you could have somebody in office as the president decide to do a federal crackdown on this and make it all illegal. I mean, that's not going to happen as of right now, but you never know what becomes president over the next 20 years and what they do.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll tell you right now, I could not walk normally every day without CBD, without taking that.
Yeah, but see, and this is the problem, because with CBD, the CBD is a banned substance in the NFL.
Yeah, well,
it's not banned by the NHL, but the NFL bans it, and the NCAA bans it.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna tell you what, I use it daily, and it helps. It makes it relieves pain. It allows mobility. It works. And I'm not doing a commercial here for anybody because my son just, he goes out by our pool every night and smokes pot every night, and it's legal here. He just lights up a joint and starts smoking. And I'm like, oh, God, I hate the smell. And my dogs go out there and hang with him.
The dogs are getting contact high.
Dogs are getting
or
mellow.
he's shotgunning with the dogs. You never know.
There you go. So his birthday was last week, and we were going to buy him a new bong for his birthday.
That's good parenting, Steve.
Oh man. Oh well. But it's California. It's legal. So I think PEDs really need to be revisited. I think you need to probably control them, but not ban them.
No, you have to ban them.
Do you agree with that?
You have to ban them. All right,
you
so
have to ban them?
you
Okay.
made the we had you on the boxing show last week after Maxime Dadashov, the boxer, passed away in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk about, the safety. So is it safe to be a 6'4", 300-pound guard that's going up against a defensive tackle that's the same size that's been on juice for the last 5 years? I mean, because the problem is this. With baseball, it affects the game. But in boxing and football, it could affect whether you live or die. And if you think that's an overstatement, there's been 2 deaths in boxing. They weren't related to that, but what happens, and this is going to happen someday, where a boxer dies in the ring, and the guy that, just beat him and basically killed him is found to be on some kind of steroids. That's the problem you have with this.
Bobby Sharon's all over this. I mean, he's been on the
Bobby's
PED
right,
horse.
because what happens is with baseball, it's ruined the sport. I mean, everybody throws 95 to 100 miles an hour. Everybody hits a 500-foot home run, and that's all the game's turned into is just these 2 steroid freaks facing each other. They're either going to hit a home run or going to strike out.
Right.
The game is shit now. With football, this has been done since the 50s, 60s, 70s, and the thing is this. If you want to stop it, actually attempt to stop it. If you don't, just quit running this charade like you care, because you don't if you're the NFL, because if you cared, you would randomly test anybody, anytime, any place. But they don't. This is all controlled. They will protect the guys that need to be protected, and God help you if you're an idiot who cycles off late, especially if you're Golden Tate, a wide receiver on a Giants team that doesn't have a whole lot to look forward to. Because when you compare what Golden Tate has done to what Tyreek Hill did just in college, the fact that Golden Tate has to sit out anywhere from
6 games.
Well,
4 to 6 games.
my guess is it'll be 2 to 6 because he's going to get this dropped a little bit. But the fact that he has to miss 1 down, but Tyreek Hill can do what he does, tells you all you need to know about the NFL and their lack of priorities.
It's a violent sport. It's a contact sport. You know what you're getting into when you go play.
Yeah, but you don't know you're getting into going up against some steroid.
How do you control it, though? How do you control it?
You test whenever.
And this is where we were going to go with this show.
How about this?
We're going to talk about teams.
And we're going to, because we're going to get off of this quickly, because this is going to be the topic probably later in the week or early next week with Mike Hollis and Leon Searcy, the former All-Pro Jacksonville Jaguars, who work with a CBD company now. But when I look at this, my final take is...
I take it.
My final take is this.
Okay.
If you want to stop it, don't let them know when they're going to be tested. Test them in February.
Exactly.
Test them in May.
Well, that's the NFLPA.
This is the thing. It's not the NFLPA. It's the NFL. Because the NFL's never attempted to make this more difficult than what it is. Because neither side want this to be more difficult than what it is. They want to, you've got the NFL's protecting the investment of the players on the field, and the NFLPA is protecting the investment of their players on the field. So when you get down to it, neither side wants to do anything about this. And as has always been the case, whether it's Ray Rice or Tyreek Hill, the people will decide. If people get tired of this and people start bitching about it, Roger Goodell will do something about it. If they don't, they won't. And the thing is, people aren't going to bitch about this because they want their players steroided up. They want these physical machines that are going out there 6'5", 300 pounds, running a 4.7 40. Just like in baseball, they want, Barry Bonds hitting 73 home runs in a season instead of 45. So in the end, I think that's what it comes down to. Something can be done about it. Nothing will be done about it. So we can talk about it till we're blue in the face, but the NFL is going to do what the NFL is going to do.
No, I agree with you 100%. And I'm not. I don't want anybody. Don't send hate mail because I wish there were no drugs in sports, but there are drugs in sports, and there are necessary drugs in sports. I mean, there are drugs you need to take.
There aren't.
To
See, I completely disagree.
you don't agree with that?
I don't think there are any drugs that anybody needs to take for anything.
Oh, geez, you don't take Advil or Tylenol?
No, I never take Advil or Tylenol because it affects your kidneys and your liver. I mean, we had Kenny Easley on a Legends show back in 2016 before he got in the Hall of Fame. And this is a guy that, to keep him playing, they would put 50 aspirin in him every day. And then finally his kidneys shut down, and he almost died from it. So, no, I think you could get everything naturally. I mean, I just don't see the reason to medicate stuff, because the only thing you do with prescription medications is basically mask the problem. You don't actually solve the problem.
No, that's not true, Mike. I've been in this industry for 25 years.
Wait, that industry is the most disgusting industry in the world.
Let's don't go there.
No, you're the one that just went there. You just said that you were been in that industry for 25 years. Tell me all the great things that industry's done.
We invented penicillin. Pfizer invented penicillin.
I don't think that penicillin
on D-Day,
was...
Every person that went on the beach in D-Day had penicillin. So if they got shot, they got infection, they could shoot themselves up and stop the infection.
Well, I hate to tell you this, Steve, but that's D-Day in 1945. And penicillin is still fine. So you gave one.
What?
So you gave one thing. Penicillin that was invented, 100 years ago?
Okay, I'll go to the drugs that I sold. Zoloft. For mental depression.
I love that, mental depression. It's a made-up disease because everybody has, mental depression at some point.
Well,
so you don't medicate it
better than others.
You don't medicate
get Glucotrol and Glucotrol XL, which for diabetes, which helps your beta cells and helps you control your pancreas and helps you control the infusion of blood sugar control in your body. Jesus, you want me to really do this? Really? Seriously?
Yeah, because I think you're full of shit.
Viagra is one of the most important drugs. It put lives back into people.
It's the most useless drug. Viagra is something you can get naturally, just like everything is. And you know what? The CBD, everything that has come out in the last 30 years, you can cure with CBD. CBD, my wife, depression, anxiety, takes CBD, it's gone. You don't need a drug with tons of side effects. Zoloft, side effects, nausea, dizziness, drowsiness, dry mouth, loss of appetite, increased sweating, diarrhea, upset stomach,
you have
trouble
to
sleeping
all
may
the
occur.
Warnings. Yes, I know. I read the package
Give me
inserts.
the side effects of CBD,
I know the package
Steve.
Inserts.
Steve, give me the side effects of CBD.
They're not written.
Because there aren't any.
They're not written.
Because there are not any, Steve. No, wait. CBD is more studied than Zoloft ever was because they look for things that are wrong with them.
No.
Are you really this brainwashed by Big Pharma that you don't know what the hell goes on?
I get a check from them every month. Yes,
I
I'm
know.
brainwashed.
And you know what? The fact that you get a check from them every month, you should probably donate it to charity. Yeah, I wouldn't take the check because it's death money.
It all helps. It all works.
It all helps. Yeah, sure it does,
perfect.
Steve. It all helps. Shit, go ahead and take this pill that'll give you 5,000. When you see a commercial on this shit, what you get is you get 20 seconds of what it can do. And then you get 50 seconds of how it can kill you.
Yeah, I know. That's because that's what they have to do. They have to.
Oh, okay. So those aren't really side effects. They're just saying that.
No, they're warnings that are put in the package insert of a product that have to be mentioned that these are complications that could occur. Yet we have, when I went out and we talked about it, there are percentages of the occurrence of these side effects, and they are minimal for the most part. Now, some drugs failed. Yes, no doubt. But most of the drugs that pharma creates are
failures.
Worthy.
No, they're not, Steve.
No.
There's nothing worthy about Viagra.
Okay. Well,
what's
ask
worthy
my wife
about
that question
Viagra?
when she comes home.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. I mean, if you're a freaking man,
I'm going to tell you
a
right
pill.
now, there's not a man in the United States over 40 years old that shouldn't be using Viagra.
I don't need
You're
to.
nuts if you don't use it.
I think you're pathetic if you use it.
Well, okay. Well, suit yourself. I get it free. So there you go.
Good for you. I mean, this is the thing. Viagra does not work. I mean, it increases blood flow when you take it.
Do you know what it works on? Do you even know what it works on?
I would say it's to increase the blood flow is from the nitrates.
PE5 inhibitors, yeah. Exactly.
Which PE5 inhibitors you can get from changing your diet, not eating processed food, and cutting all sugar out.
No, some people can.
No.
Anyway, all right.
Wait a second. So
on.
some people can't stop eating sugar?
No, I can't stop eating sugar.
Oh. So basically what you're saying is you need something to give you your manhood because you're not man enough to stop taking something else.
Yes, I'll say that. Yes, I'm 60 years old. Yes.
I don't know what being 60 years old
my
has
failures.
to do with it.
Yeah, no. No problem with that at all.
Okay, so once again, it's not something that's needed.
Let's move on to training camp. Let's go on to training camp.
Well, you want to because of that, so.
No, I don't want to get into it. If you want to do a show on pharmaceuticals, I'll do one with you and I'll kill you.
You won't kill me,
I'll
Steve.
blow
You're
you
not
out of
fucking
the water.
smart enough to kill me on that shit. Because you know what? If Big Pharma was so great, why do they have to pay off so many lobbyists in Congress?
Pay off lobbyists? No, they
well,
hire
they've got
lobbyists.
Why do you have so many lobbyists paying off congressmen?
They don't pay off lobbyists. We hire.
They are lobbyists.
I was a lobbyist,
which makes you a fucking scumbag. I'm sorry, but if you're a lobbyist for something and you don't know what it is, there's an issue with that.
Repeat that question?
No, I said if you admit to being a lobbyist for Big Pharma and then you laugh about it, that's really sad from all the people that die from this.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to tell you what. For every one person that passes away, there are 9 people that live. So
the hell does that
you're playing
mean,
the odds. There's no doubt. There's no doubt.
Big Pharma was caused the opioid overdose, but you're fine with that.
Yeah, and that's a mess. And I agree that's a mess. But that's not what I did and not what we did.
You just said that you were a lobbyist.
I lobbied for Pfizer on the Hill.
Yeah. Why would you lobby for Pfizer on the Hill? Why would, if the product is so great, why would you need to lobby for it?
Mostly because I was getting paid by him to do it. That's the biggest reason.
So it's all right if you're getting paid, even if somebody else gets hurt?
No, because I believed in the products that we sold and the things that we did and the products of Pfizer Pharmaceuticals and Eli Lilly and Merck and SmithKline Johnson all put out. For the most part, they're worthy products. There are failures. Yes, they are.
There's no worthy
But you know how long?
Mike,
here's the process. We'll end it on this, and we'll get on to football. It takes 22 years. You get a 22-year patent on a drug. Okay, when you create an entity in pharmaceuticals, you get a 22-year patent. Okay, it takes about 14 years to bring a product to market. Okay, so you have to go through studies. You have to go through level 1 studies, level 2 studies, level 3 studies, level 4 studies, animal studies, human studies. I did this. This is my life. And then you have to now spend 7 years. It costs billions of dollars to do that for a pharmaceutical company.
Yeah, because they're making billions of dollars to do it.
Yeah, they do well. Yeah, they do well. But then you have 7 years basically of your patent life to recoup it before it goes generic, and then somebody can just bank your product and take it and say, it's mine now. It's free. But I think that the misnomer of thinking that pharmaceuticals kill people,
but they do. It's been proven.
Rather than save lives.
They don't save lives.
People die.
They extend your life so you
can
keep paying them. I mean, what about Protonex? Did you have anything to do with Protonex?
No. Protonics.
Yeah, Protonix, whatever.
Yeah,
but
I take
mean,
Protonix,
that caused kidney
actually.
problems. It caused kidney problems, and Pfizer had to pay
It's an acid
$55
reflux
million.
drug.
You don't need an acid reflux drug. What you need to do is not eat shit all the time, or just take a teaspoon of baking soda and water. It gets rid of acid reflux. The only thing acid reflux does, the drugs do, is eat out the lining in your stomach and your esophagus.
All right, I'm going to look something up real quick. Keep talking.
Chantix?
Chantix sucks. That we launched that drug, and that's a bad drug.
$288 million. What about depot testosterone?
I've never taken testosterone, so I don't know much about that.
Well, it's depot testosterone, and there's like 6,000 lawsuits on the books because it causes strokes, blood clots, and heart attacks. It's still in trial right now. Zoloft.
Alrighty. Yeah, what about Zoloft?
Well, Zoloft,
I launched this drug.
The judge agreed that Zoloft caused birth defects, and it was not one of the things listed as one of the problems.
And was the judge a doctor?
Why? What would a doctor know about medicine? I mean, doctors are not even taught anything about nutrition. I mean, come on. Doctors are taught what Big Pharma wants them to be taught.
That's 48% true.
No, it's true because they
I'll give you that, 'cause marketing. No, I'll give you that. Marketing is huge in pharma. I'll give you that. It's huge. And that's what I did for 25 years was marketing for pharma. So yes, marketing is huge, but we tended to avoid the doctors who were not good doctors.
Yeah, the guys that wouldn't go along with what you were saying.
We don't want them using our drugs because they're going to kill people with our drugs.
Yeah.
They're not going to use them right. So, yeah, it's like anything. I mean, you can get in a car and kill yourself in 3 minutes if you don't use it right. That's the way it is with anything.
So basically, like with Vicodin, it's just people don't use it right?
No, that's a different category, Mike. That's a whole different world.
Oh, so
they
it's not
screwed
pharma?
that thing up.
Okay.
It's pharma. It's pharma gone bad. You're right. It's pharma gone bad. It's
all
like
pharma's pharma gone bad. Vaccines, all pharma's gone bad. There's no reason to put thimerosal in vaccines and give 30 of them in one day. Vaccines are fine as long as they're giving separately and you don't give vaccines for everything known to man.
I agree entirely.
But Big Pharma wants to make money, so that's how you give vaccines.
But most Big Pharma doesn't sell those drugs.
No, but Big Pharma does. I mean,
we never sold those drugs.
Yeah. But y'all would have.
I never sold. I never sold an opioid. I never sold a steroid. I sold heart medication, diabetes medication.
Steve, you can't legally sell a steroid, so unless it's a doctor prescribed, which are not nearly as strong.
Well, but you could go market it. I'm sorry, let me use the word marketing instead of selling. So you're right. Let me use the word market instead of selling. And we never did that. So.
All right, how about this? Here's somebody that needs steroids, which would be A.J. Green. You like the segue?
Love it. Let's go. Let's get into football. Get off of this.
This is my problem with this, because I know that they say that this has nothing to do with the field, but they played at Dayton's Welcome Stadium, and my son's high school team played there 2 years ago, and the place should be shut down. It's disgusting. And the thing that's really sad is it sits right next to the UD Arena where they play the first four every year in the NCAA tournament.
Yep.
And the field, the turf is absolute crap. It's an absolute joke. You should not have an NFL team even practicing on that field, but they wanted to celebrate the NFL's 100th anniversary. And so the Bengals practice at Welcome Stadium in Dayton. That's where the city played the first NFL game in 1920. I think it was the Dayton Triangles against the Columbus Panhandles. And, of course, things took a sour turn as A.J. Green tears the ligaments in his ankle. Now, I can
He's
tell you
out
this.
week one, guaranteed out week one.
Well, they say 6 to 8 weeks. They missed the preseason, which is good with me because then they can't get hurt during it, even though he got hurt before it. But Tyler Boyd is the one that said the turf was terrible. I couldn't run any routes out there. I'm falling all over the ground. It was bad. It was rocks, pebbles out there. Man, it was somewhere we shouldn't have been. I'm not trying to give any excuses, but it is what it is. Now, my sad thing here is the Bengals cleared the field for use before the practices, and Coach Zach Taylor disagreed with Green's injury was caused by the field, saying, I don't think the turf had anything to do with it. The field is like rocks and pebbles. It's horrible. And high school teams should not even be allowed to play on this field. But yet the Cincinnati Bengals were allowed to play on it. And whether that's why A.J. Green got hurt or not, I just wanted to bitch because I've been on that field. My sons have played on that field. It's atrocious. And
is it up in North Dayton? Is it in North Dayton? Is it up near Harris?
It's at the University of Dayton. Harrah is probably...
Harrah Sports Arena.
Yeah, Harrah's probably like 15 minutes away from it, but it was probably built about the same time Harrah was. Now, Harrah's not there anymore because I think a tornado took it down. And really, that was a mercy killing because I
played in Harris.
I did too. I had multiple arena football teams that played in Harrah Arena, and the place was disgusting. It was nasty. And Welcome Stadium in Dayton is the same way. And I love the University of Dayton. They treat me great when I go to the first four, and they played at UD Arena, which is a state-of-an-art facility. They've got a Division I college football team that is non-scholarship, which means I think they play with schools like Butler, Valparaiso. They play I think they still play in the Pioneer League. John Gruden actually played there when he was younger. He was the quarterback at the University of Dayton, I think in like the late 80s, early 90s. So there's tradition there, but the field is absolute crap. The good thing for the Bengals is they still have Tyler Boyd. They still got Joe Mixon. They'll be fine there. But I just don't know why the NFL is putting the Bengals on a field at Welcome Stadium.
Well, I mean, okay, but is that the NFL or is that the Bengals?
Well, the Bengals had to approve it, but the NFL had to suggest it. I mean, if the NFL doesn't suggest it, it's never done. So it's both sides' fault. And, yeah, maybe this didn't have anything to do with the injury, but it's still, I mean, seriously, Steve, if you play on this field and you run you run a fade route, when you come back to the huddle, you got to take your shoe off to get the rocks and the pebbles from the turf out of it. I mean, this is something where if you went to the University of Dayton, you could never run a no-huddle offense because after each play, you got to let everybody take their shoes off and get the crap out of their shoes.
All right. And have you ever thought about being a dog? And I take my dogs for a 4-mile walk every day. And they walk on their paws. They don't even put shoes on.
Yeah, but those paws are designed to walk on stuff like that.
For that, exactly.
And this is the thing. If I just had to walk on that field, it wouldn't be as bad as wearing a shoe because when it gets caught between the inside of your shoe and the inside of your foot, It bugs the hell
It
out of
hurts.
me, anyways, because I remember coaching that game. I think it was 2 years ago, and just walking around on the field every few minutes, you'd have to get the junk out of your shoes.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that was the opening game for us in 1981 when we won the national championship. Was at Dayton. We played Maryland and clocked them big time. Other than that, and I've not had much good luck with Dayton since then. So, yeah, I mean, I think they need to be more cautious about that, and we all agree because now you've got a star player who is out for 6 to 8 weeks, maybe longer, and it's there's so much involved in this, it's unbelievable. Let's go through. Okay, I'm on NFL website right now. Flores makes players run for sloppy practice in high heat. Is that right or wrong? Brian Flores made his players run extra hard and do extra sprints in practice.
Oh my God, Steve! They had to do extra running because they weren't practicing well. That is so mean and cruel.
Okay, all right.
Hell yeah, you should make them run.
All right.
Are you
I'm
against
with you.
it? Because I'm sure Coach Knight never made you guys run extra gassers just because practice didn't go that well.
Oh God, we're on a tangent here. This was supposed to be an NFL show.
It's not a tangent. I'm just saying we're talking. You brought it up about the sprinting. My point is this: in the 1980s, nobody would have thought anything about that.
Yeah. All righty. Cam Newton says he shouldn't have played last year. So his shoulder was too beat up. He shouldn't have played.
I believe on this show I said that last year.
Okay. All right. What about the Colts wide receiving corps?
What about them?
They seem to be pretty good. I mean, I think it's ridiculous.
They have not played a game yet.
I know. I'm saying it's ridiculous that ESPN thinks the Colts are going to win the Super Bowl. I think that's another knuck and futz moment. Is Andrew Luck ready to come back? Now, he's injured right now. He's out with a calf injury.
Just his calf.
They're masking it, though. Are they masking it, or is it? What are they doing?
He's probably just tweaked it a little bit, and they're going to be safe, and this way they don't have to play him in the preseason, which I wouldn't play Andrew Luck in the preseason anyways, ever. But
no, I think preseason needs to go away. I just play a 20-game schedule.
No way. You play a 16-game schedule. You got to have 2 preseason games.
Then you're right. Just have your inter-squad scrimmages where people come and you go, pads and dummies.
I got no problem. You got to have 2 preseason games. I mean, you got to know what you got because you got 80-some guys on the roster. You may not always know what you got if you don't have a couple preseason games, but you play 2 preseason games. Let the first one, let all the guys that you're trying to see if they can play or not play. The second one, play your starters for a quarter, play all the other guys, figure out your roster, and play the next week. But what they're going to do is they're going to turn it into an 18-game season, which should never be done.
Okay. All right. Ezekiel Elliott, what's the deal with him?
He wants more money. And it don't look like the Cowboys want to give him as much money as he wants. So if I'm the Dallas Cowboys, honestly, I wouldn't give him what he wants.
He's overrated?
Not that he's overrated, but we don't know when he's going to all of a sudden get arrested and can't play anymore anyways. I mean, how many times has he been in trouble? How many times has he been suspended? That has to come into play.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers, does he come back?
From what?
Injury.
I'm sure he will. Or somebody saying he won't.
Yeah, no, I'm just reading down through the list right now.
Well, I mean, what's wrong with him? Is he still hurt?
No, I'm just saying, does he come back to be Aaron Rodgers? I mean, you touted him as one of your picks for, I think, MVP.
No, I didn't.
On your Oh, you picked.
That was not me that wrote that article. You know that, right? It said Sam Teach
Yeah, but you
on it.
posted it.
What's that mean?
You post.
I also post
I mean,
articles about soccer, but I still think it's stupid.
You don't post any crap about soccer.
Yeah, I do. We've had 2 soccer articles in the last few days, and we got a soccer show that Hamed Zaman from Cardiff, Wales is going to start doing every week for us also.
Can I do it with him?
Sure can. He's looking for a co-host.
I know nothing about soccer. I hate soccer.
So it'll be kind of like when we do this show.
You don't like this show, really? Seriously?
No, you said
My
that you
God.
couldn't do a soccer show because you didn't know anything about soccer. I said, well, you do this show.
I love this show.
That's not the
Okay,
point. The point
so-
is we do this show, but you still don't know anything. Go ahead. Did you get my sarcastic
Wow.
joke yet?
Yeah, I got it. I know.
All right.
It's my heart is bleeding right now.
Okay. Well, at least you got
I'm
one.
draining some blood out. Okay, so let's go through the team by team real quickly. Garofalo, San Francisco. Does he come back and make a splash?
You mean Janine Garofalo? Are you talking about Jimmy Garoppolo?
Jimmy Garofalo, yeah. Jimmy.
I don't know. They said he was inaccurate. None of this matters until they get pads on him, play football, which won't be for another, 5 or 6 weeks?
Okay, what about the Rams?
What about him? If Todd Gurley's completely healthy, they're a threat. If he's not, Jared Goff's just a threat to himself.
Okay, the Seahawks?
They got Russell Wilson, so they got a chance, but the roster, I think, is worse than what it was last year.
All right, the Chargers. You got who's their quarterback? I can't get his name right now. Rivers is he's coming off his best year, 37. Do they make a run?
Man, it's the Chargers. Everybody always thinks they're about to make a run, and they never make a run. They should, but I think the AFC West, I think the Raiders are improved. I think the Broncos are improved. The Chiefs are what they were last year, so that's going to be a tough division for any of those 4 teams to win.
All right, so do you think that Gruden's worth his money now?
I'll tell you in about 3 years. I never thought he was worth the money to begin with. I always thought he was an overrated coach. He won the Super Bowl with the Bucs. What happened the next 6 or 7 years with him? They made the playoffs once or twice, didn't win a game, so we'll see. But the Raiders better hope he is.
Okay, where do we go next? The Chiefs. You're high on Mahomes? You're high on
I'm not
Mahomes.
high on anything in Kansas City because I think the way that organization is run is a way that it should not be run. I think they take way too many chances on guys with character issues. I think Patrick Mahomes may be the real deal, but we will not know that until this year is over. He had one great year. I watched Mark Rippon, have a great year once. That didn't turn out so great after that. So I think Mahomes is the real deal. I think the Chiefs are a Super Bowl contender. I just don't think we're ever going to see the Chiefs win a Super Bowl until Andy Reid's not the coach there.
So the problem's Andy Reid.
It has been everywhere he's been. In Philadelphia, they always had talent. They got the one Super Bowl. Kansas City always got talent. Hadn't made it to a Super Bowl. Put it like this. Kansas City was at home against New England. They had the better roster. They had the better team. And they still lost to New England at home. That's coaching, to me.
Okay. Let's go to AFC South. Are the Colts Super Bowl champions?
Jesus, no.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm with you on this one. And I
No,
love
you're
the
not.
Colts.
You
That's
believe the
my
Colts are
team.
going to win the Super Bowl, but you got to cover your own ass by acting they're not going to, and then later in the season you go, "See,
Because they're not
they're
going
gonna
to.
win." The Tennessee
not going
Titans. The Titans are a good team, but they're missing something. The Jaguars are a threat. They've got some players.
Well, they got Foles now, don't they? They have Foles now.
Yeah, which makes them a threat. So I think the Jaguars are the biggest threat there. I think Texans are going to markedly drop off, and Bill O'Brien will be fired. He shouldn't be because I think he's done a great job with a lack of talent and quarterbacks beat up all the time. They got Deshaun Watson, who I really like, but I think their offensive line is a mess. Their running backs are getting older. The wide receivers. I think the Houston Texans will be a team that will not sniff the playoffs this year that won their division last year. There, I just covered the AFC South for you in a nutshell. And I think the Colts are, if they can play better against the run, especially up front, defensive tackle-wise, I think the Colts are a legitimate threat to go to the Super Bowl.
Okay, in the AFC, then, what's the most competitive? I mean, you got the Bengals, you got the Steelers.
I think it's the AFC West because I think you've got the possibility. I think you got the possibility. All four teams are improved. All four teams are going to be good. When you look at the AFC North, you got Cleveland on paper looks good. Baltimore has no quarterback. Pittsburgh's getting old. Cincinnati. If you look at the AFC South, I think the Colts are a Super Bowl contender, but that's it. Maybe an outside chance at the Jaguars. AFC East, you got the Patriots. So when you look at that, you've got the Chargers. I think the Broncos are going to be improved, the Chiefs, and I think the Raiders are going to be improved. I think the AFC West is the best division in the AFC, maybe the best division in the NFL.
Roethlisberger, what do you do with him?
Let him play because he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. You just got to hope that all of a sudden he's not old. Yeah, I mean, Big Ben is an all-time great quarterback.
Well, sure he is, yeah.
But he's 37 years old, and we don't know how that'll go because this is the thing. I mean, you could come out this year and Brady and Roethlisberger just not having it anymore, and then the Patriots and Steelers are rebuilding for the next decade.
All right, talk about the AFC East. Brady.
I just did.
Can you do it again?
It's Brady, and it's not like it's the greatest division in the world. The Jets are improved. The Dolphins are terrible. The Bills, I think, will be all right, but, I mean, the Patriots are going to win the division by default. Unless halfway through the season, Brady breaks his hip.
Which isn't going to happen.
That's what happens.
It could happen. I mean, it could happen.
Yeah, he's getting up there in age.
So,
it could happen.
NFC, are the Bears? The Bears seem to have fallen off.
It's not that the Bears seem to have fallen off. How could they fall off? Because they were, a division champion last year. Would they do that? My question is, how do you replace Jordan Howard, who I think is going to be damn near impossible to replace? I don't care who they get. I think Jordan Howard's a hell of a running back. My big thing with them is I think I saw the stat where they got 31 takeaways last year, 27 by interception. The one thing I do know, if you want to look for teams that are going to drop off quickly from year to year, you go look at the top of the takeaways. And the teams that got 30, 33, 35, 37 takeaways the year before almost invariably will drop off and win 5 or 6 less games just because it's really hard to continue takeaways at that level. So I don't think the Bears are going to be a playoff team. I think the Packers have a lot of questions. The Vikings have questions. The Detroit Lions are going to make the playoffs.
Well, you're high on the Lions. So talk about the Lions.
Well, I think this. I think that over the last 60 years, anybody that thought the Lions would make the playoffs would obviously have to be high. But I am high on the Lions because I just think Matthew Stafford's going to have a big season. We're only a couple years removed from them being a playoff team. They got the big tight end out of Iowa, which I think is going to make them more dangerous. I think they've upgraded the linebackers. I think Matt Patricia is a good football coach, and I think the NFC North overall gets overrated. I think Detroit wins somewhere between 8 and 10 games, and I think they've got a chance to make the playoffs.
And their coach needs to go on a plant-based diet.
Yes, he does. That is obvious. But you will be able to send him Viagra right now still because he'll probably need it. But go ahead.
He probably already gets it. He goes to Canada.
All right, NFC East. You want to talk about
across the
NFC
across
East.
The lake to go to Canada and get Viagra for nothing.
The NFC East is where you talk about the plant-based diet with Carson Wentz, who is in much better shape this year. I think if Carson Wentz is healthy all season, I think the Philadelphia Eagles will be in the Super Bowl. I think the Cowboys, the Ezekiel Elliott thing, it looks like it may be an issue for a while. I think the Redskins are a team. I think the Redskins are a dark horse because last year they had a championship quality defense. It's just according whether they can put an offense to go with it. The New York Giants, I think, are going to be an absolute mess. In the NFC West, I think the 49ers can win that division. I think the Rams will win it if Todd Gurley plays 14 games healthily. 14 out of 16 games
you're not
healthy.
You're not high on Jared Goff, right?
No,
you're not
because
high on Goff.
He's not very good.
And you're a quarterback coach, so I'm just asking the question.
Yeah, and I think that what we saw in the Super Bowl last year is what you get when they can't run the ball and teams run a lot of show coverages. He gets confused on the snap. I mean, he is a guy that can hand the ball off. He throws the ball deep. He's a little bit of the game manager thing, which all quarterbacks are game managers, though, which is why it drives me nuts when fans say, well, he's just a game manager. But the Cardinals, I think, are going to be crap. So I think this division comes down to Russell Wilson, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Jared Goff. Which one do you think's better? I think Russell Wilson's better, but I don't think his team's as good as Garoppolo's. Same thing when you look at the Rams. So I think it's a toss-up. If I had to bet money right now, I would bet it on the 49ers as a long shot. Just
okay, address that because you've talked about that. You think the 49ers are one of the most improved teams.
As long as Garoppolo is playing and he is healthy. And the thing is this, right. Just like Wentz, Garoppolo hasn't made it through too many games being healthy. I think a healthy Garoppolo and a healthy Wentz could lead to a Philadelphia-San Francisco NFC Championship game.
That would be fun.
Not really, because I don't like either team. But it would be fun because I just predicted it. So if it happened, we could pull this up 8 months from now and say, hey, look, I predicted that. But
so is this another kind of disastrous year for Dallas?
I don't think it's disastrous. I think they are a 7.
They're going to be mediocre again. They're going to be mediocre
7 to 10 wins. If you make Elliott happy, everybody stays healthy, they could win the division. Because we just said Philadelphia came with the caveat that Wentz has to be healthy. If Wentz misses 4 or 5 games middle of the season, you could see Dallas jump up and steal the division. It wouldn't surprise me if Dallas is a wild card. I'm just not impressed with Jason Garrett. I'm not impressed with Jerry Jones as an owner, and I just feel like, if there's a way that they can screw it up, they'll find it and they'll execute it.
Okay.
And if you look at the NFC East, I think the NFC North or South. It's the South now. They changed these divisions back in 1990 and they still haven't caught up.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah. I think the Saints are the definite class of that division. I think the Bucs could be a little bit of a long shot. The Panthers, I just question whether they got enough weapons for Cam to throw to. The Falcons are the Falcons. I still think the Super Bowl hangover thing's real from losing a 28-3 lead with 17 minutes left. And I think Dan Quinn's a good football coach, but I don't think they ever get back there with him there.
Well, and how good is Matt Ryan? I mean, really, how good is Matt Ryan as a quarterback? What's your thought?
He's a great quarterback. I mean, he's proven it. This is the thing. He took him to the Super Bowl, and in that Super Bowl, Matt Ryan made some great throws that could have won that game. That game was lost by the coaching. So if they just take 25 seconds in between each play in the last 17 minutes of that game, you're not even asking that question because Matt Ryan's already won a Super Bowl.
Okay.
Right. I don't remember. This is the thing. It was a 28-3 lead with 17 minutes left. Matt Ryan didn't throw any interceptions, and they still lost that game.
There you go.
And if you take away the 3rd and 1 where they decide to throw the ball and he gets sacked and they get taken out of field goal range, kick a field goal there and he's won a Super Bowl. So I'm not going to blame Matt Ryan for that. Matt Ryan played well in that game. It's just the coaching let him down. And then, I think the Saints, if I had to look at it right now, I would say the Saints against the Eagles in the NFC. In the AFC, I would probably just safely pick the Chiefs and the Patriots.
Okay, and it's my team. So what's the love affair with the Colts all of a sudden?
I don't have a love affair with the Colts all of a sudden, so I
well,
don't know.
no, but ESPN does. ESPN.
It's
picked
because
them in the
last
Super Bowl.
year they were one of those teams that came out of nowhere, made a little run, won a playoff game. So everybody falls in love with them. They got Andrew Luck, Darius Leonard. I mean, I don't know. All I know is this. I think what it comes down to is everybody's picking the Chiefs or the Patriots. So if you're not going to pick the Chiefs or the Patriots, who are you going to pick? So to be a little bit different, you don't pick the Chiefs or the Patriots. So if you're not going to pick the Chiefs or Patriots, you're going to pick the Colts.
Right. All right. So here's a great question. In your opinion, because you are a quarterback coach, and I know you coach daily, and for anybody listening, if you want to get great quarterback coaching lessons, find Mike Goodpaster on thegruelingtruth.net and .com, and he will teach your kid how to play quarterback. Who is the best quarterback in the NFL right now? And it's easy to say Brady, so it's because he wins. I get that, but he's got a great coach and a great team. Mahomes, I think, is a gunslinger. Who's the best quarterback in the NFL? Who would you want to build your franchise around now?
That's a different one, though, because if you're going to build it, I would take Patrick Mahomes because he's like 23 years old. But if you were just telling me who I wanted to be my quarterback this year for this 1 year and try to win it, I'd take Drew Brees.
Really? He's what, 40?
Yeah. But we're just doing it for 1 year. My second choice is Brady. But I think Brees looks more like he did back in the day. I think Brady has shown some sign of decline. Not a lot, but some. But I would go with Drew Brees. I mean, you got Drew Brees on a bad year. He's throwing for 4,000 yards.
Yeah. Agreed. All right, what else we need to look at? I mean, anything else we need to look at?
I'm done. We're an hour and 7 minutes in, so I'm losing my train of thought. I'll be asleep in 10 minutes.
I know, me too. I got to go.
But, all right, we will be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock, so Steve can try to defend working for Pfizer again. Yeah, my wife's rolling her eyes. Hey, Steve said that Viagra is the only way that when you're over 40, you're a man, that you can do stuff. Do you find that to be true?
And what does Wendy say? What does Wendy say? What does Wendy say?
Here, come here. Hold on. Tell what helps.
Okay, let me.
Plant-based diet.
There you go.
What'd she say?
She said a plant-based diet.
Oh, Jesus
has the
Christ.
same effect.
Yeah, and you know what? Saturday night, my wife.
She
looked
said
at
without
me and
the
said,
side effects.
Did you take Viagra? There are no side effects to Viagra. It's
There's
the
no
safest
side effects to
drug in the
Viagra,
world.
except that one on the commercial where they say, "Well, if you have an erection that lasts for longer than 4 hours, you better go to the hospital." Now, let me ask you this, Steve. Wait a second.
I take it every night.
Wait a
there
second,
are no
Steve.
side effects.
Steve, I have a question for you, though. If you get a hard-on that lasts for more than 4 hours and you go to the hospital, how do you explain it?
I'd say, look at my wife and say, "We got to go again."
No, but see, this is the thing.
She says, "No mas."
If you're over 40,
she goes to Roberta Duran and says, "No mas, no mas."
Yeah, because I mean,
oh, that's funny. You got to like it that.
Not really.
That's funny.
I mean, I don't know why you would compare Roberta Duran to your penis, but all right.
No, it's no mas.
Or, wait a second, even better, are you comparing having sex with you to the same as having, fighting Sugar Ray Leonard?
No, he cleaned my clock in about 3 seconds. I'd be knocked out in about 3 seconds. Are you kidding me? I couldn't even defend one punch. I'd be on the floor.
Yeah, but no, you're comparing it, so the thing is this.
No.
Everybody that fought Sugar Ray Leonard failed. So We'll just leave it at
No,
that.
I would not ever
All
get
right,
a ring
guys,
with a
let me
boxer.
remind you.
I would
go to,
die in a heartbeat.
Go to betnow.eu. Get a 50% cash
Yes.
back bonus up to your first deposit of $1,000. Use the promo code TRUTH50. You can also go to thegruelingtruth.com, click on the top of the page there, and use the promo code TRUTH50. But we're going to wrap it up for
Hey,
now.
Mike?
Yeah.
Mike,
Yeah.
I have done that. I have an account.
I know you did. Have you bet anything yet?
No, Bobby won't call me back.
Bobby's
Betting
having things right now, so Bobby.
I know Bobby's
back,
got some. Bobby's got some
all right,
things going on right now. So
real quick, we're gonna wrap this up because I got stuff to do, Steve. I can't just sit here and chit chat with you all day. But tonight at 11,
I'm having
Jeremiah
a great day.
will be back with Inside Boxing Daily. Make sure you check that out. Me, Roberto Duran, me, Robert Drummond, and Brian Schmidt will be back for the CFL Weekly Show on Wednesday night. So for now, we're going to sign off. I want to remind everybody you can hear all of our shows on iHeartRadio, iTunes, TuneIn, Spreaker, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you find sports podcasts. You'll find The Grueling Truth. So for Steve Risley, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.